Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is my wrap-up video for May. I know this is like so far behind, like I am literally so far behind schedule. I can't believe that this is literally my wrap-up video and it's like what, June 5th or something like that. But I do have a good excuse. I went to BookCon over the weekend, and so I didn't get to film my wrap-up because I was literally finishing a book like the last day of May. And so I didn't get to film my wrap-up before I actually went to New York City and did BookCon all weekend long. And then I just got back on Monday and I still had one of my book friends here at my house. And so I finally have time now to film my wrap-up video and tell you what a terrible reading month I had in May. Like, it literally was the worst reading month I have had so far. I am very sad that it's like that, but I have so many readathons and so many books and so many activities I'm doing in June, and I have so much more free time now. So I'm going to catch up with all of my reading in June and get ahead of schedule, because that Goodreads reading challenge is telling me I'm 2 books behind schedule right now, and I really don't like it. So for May, I read a total of 5 books. That's it. I only read 5 books, and I like struggled to try and get those 5 books read. I didn't read any of my NetGalley reads like I said I was going to, so, you know, slap my hand on that one, but I'm definitely like going to do that for June. I already have one of my NetGalley reads, like I'm currently reading at the moment, and so it's fine. It's okay. I'm gonna get my NetGalley reads done. I'm gonna get that 100% on that ratio, so that way I can start getting more approvals. But of the 5 books that I read, 2 of them were thrillers. 2 of them were nonfiction, like health books, I guess technically is. Well, one was a like health book, and then one was like a Bible study book, but they were both nonfiction. And then one was a historical fiction. I can't believe I'm saying that, but like a historical fiction, like slash contemporary slash chick lit? I don't know exactly, but I know that Goodreads has it as historical fiction, and I'm super proud of myself for actually reading a historical fiction this month. So pat myself on the back for that one. I read a total of 1,636 pages, which is not that great because last month I read 2,243 pages. So now that I'm like keeping track of this, I'm finally like seeing like how many pages is kind of normal for me to read, and what a bad month looks like and what a good month looks like. I had 2 2-stars and I had 3 4-star reads. So in my eyes, it was also a bad reading month as well, because I can't believe I had 2 2-star books in there. And 4-star books, like, I mean, I like 4-star books, but I can't believe I didn't have any 5-star reads. Like, that was kind of sad actually, that I had 2 2-stars, no 5 stars, so it's fine. I listened to 2 of the books on audio, and I read 3 physical books actually, and then 3 of those came from the library. One of them was through Scribd or Scribed. I never know how to say it. Like, literally, I feel like half of the people say it one way, half of the people say it the other way. I have no clue, so I'm sorry if I said it wrong, but I used Scribd or Scribe for one of the books. And then one of the books was gifted or like sent to me. So one of my friends had an advanced copy of a book and she sent it to me, and I read it this month. So that's where that came from. Okay, we started out really strong with a 2-star read, and it was The River at Night. And I thought I was going to love this book. It even might be on my 5-star predictions video. I can't remember at the time, like right at the moment. I gave it 2 stars. I read it as a audiobook. It was an audiobook, and it was one of the first things that I started during the month, and I was very disappointed with how it was. It was supposed to be thrilling. It was supposed to be about these 4 women that went on like this like cabin trip or like retreat or whatever together, and then they were taking a river ride and they get stuck at the river at night because they like crash or something like that, and then they have to like find their way back. It was literally filled with so much drama. The reason that I didn't like it is because it wasn't thrilling at all. It took half of the book, like literally I was at the halfway point and they just started getting on the river. Like, how can you call the book The River at Night when there was so much drama and beginning story before anything even really happened? So I really didn't like that. And then once we actually got onto the river and they crashed and bad things started happening, and then they're in the river and it's nighttime and, you know, you have to survive, then it was like this really weird aspect that didn't seem realistic at all. Like, I can't say it because it's like the only thrilling thing that happens in the book the whole time, but like, it was just so weird. I didn't see it coming, and that's not really what would happen if you actually got stuck like at a river at night. And so I don't know, I just didn't like it. I gave it 2 stars. I did end up finishing it, but I was buddy reading it with like 4 or 5 other people, and I think I'm the only one that finished it because they all also thought it was like boring. They didn't like it, so that kind of sucked, but it's okay. The next book that I read was The Keto Diet by Dr. Josh Axe. This is a non-fiction health book, and if you don't know, like, I do the keto diet, and I have a whole like main channel where I talk keto stuff and have keto recipes and all that kind of stuff. I have it linked down below if any of you are interested, but you know, you don't have to go follow me. This is my book channel. But I did read this and I thought it was very interesting, especially if you're coming from a paleo background or if you want to eat more healthy compared to the traditional way of keto, because the traditional way of keto is a lot of like processed meats and bacon and cheese and dairy, and you're not getting as many nutrients from those foods. And so Dr. Josh Axe talks about how to do it more of a paleo way. He even has vegan and vegetarian in here, which if you are trying to do vegan or vegetarian keto, I highly recommend Keto Diet by Dr. Will Cole, but this was also a really great one, so I really enjoyed reading this, and I started doing the meal plan. He has a 30-day meal plan in the back with recipes and everything. There aren't any pictures, but the recipes are really, really easy and really tasty, actually. So we've done a week of this so far, and I'm writing up another week-long meal plan to do the second week of his meal plan. So I gave this book 4 stars. It's not like the best keto book I've ever read because I do like to have pictures with recipes when, you know, it's a book. But it was actually a really, really good read. So the next book that I read was Present Over Perfect, and I read this as like my monthly Bible study for my Bible study group that I do, and I actually did enjoy this. I gave it 4 stars. One of the reasons why I loved it so much is it was easy reading, and it talked about slowing down and not having you know, your life just so busy all the time, like to say no to some people, not always to say yes, and how that's okay. And I was very busy and stressed here in May because I was trying to finish like the last few weeks of work. I was trying to do all of my YouTube stuff. I was getting ready for BookCon. My brother got married this month, and I made all of the cupcakes and the cake for that. And so it was a great book for me to read at the time of my life that I was in. And I ended up taking like a break from my main YouTube channel, which was like highly needed. And so I really did get a lot of information out of this book. There were times where it was repetitive, or I felt like her stories didn't really have anything to do with anything. So that's why I only gave it 4 stars, but it was actually a great read. And if you are struggling with the fact of like just being too busy all the time, you're worn out, you don't have time for the things that you like want to do, or you're always doing things for other people, like I do highly recommend this book. And you know, maybe you can change a couple things, say no to a couple people, and just kind of focus on like what you actually need as an individual and what would make you feel more relaxed and, you know, just happier in general and more present, as if that's what the book is about. The next book that I read was The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and I cannot believe that I read this book and that I finished it and that I gave it 4 stars. Gabby had told me that I needed to read it, and I'm finally glad that I did. I actually listened to the audiobook, and I really enjoyed the audiobook more than when I tried to read the physical copy. So maybe if you've tried this book and you didn't like it, try and listen to the audiobook and you might actually be more interested in it. It was actually way different than I thought it was going to be, and it was about like this actress, and she was talking about her whole life, like what she did about her 7 husbands. But it was really cool how there was like this little twist that you didn't know, that I can't really talk about obviously, but it was actually a really great book. I love how Taylor Jenkins Reid's writes her characters, that's what I fall in love with. The story wasn't like my all-time favorite, and that's why I gave it 4 stars, but Taylor is so good at writing about her characters, and I actually feel for her characters, and I want to know more about the characters, and so I think her writing style is very strong, and it's something that I really like, and so that's why I gave it 4 stars. And I mean, I think a lot of people, like, I can see why a lot of people really love this book. It wasn't my favorite of all time, but it was a good story, actually, so I might try reading or listening to Daisy Jones and the Six now that I tackled The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. And then the last book that I read was The Escape Room. This was an ARC copy. I don't think this is coming out until August, and this is a thriller, and I ended up giving it 2 stars. I really didn't like it. It took me all month long to read, so I don't know if it's because I was so busy and I was picking it up and reading, 20 pages here and there, and then it was like the last day of May, I was trying to like finish the last half of it, and it felt very boring at times. There was a lot of stuff about Wall Street because it's about these investment bankers who get stuck in an elevator. Literally the whole book is them in the elevator. Nothing's really happening. There's a lot of drama going on. And then the ending really reminded me of Gone Girl. So I felt like that was a very cheap ending, and I just did not like it. So if you are someone that you've already read Gone Girl or you didn't like Gone Girl, you probably won't like this book, because I felt like, I don't know, like nothing spectacular happened, and it just didn't feel very realistic. Like, I don't know, it just didn't come together at the end for me. So that's how I felt about that. That was my other 2-star read. So The River at Night was a 2-star. The Escape Room was a 2-star. Those were the only 2 thrillers I read this month, and I gave them bad ratings. Like, how does that make me feel right now? Not that great, but it's okay. That is all for my wrap up for May. I am sorry that it took so long to get this out, and my BookCon video should be coming out very soon. I have to film a little bit more for it, like my actual opinion of BookCon. So I hope that you're excited to watch that. I will give you like just a little warning that it's not gonna be a lot of BookCon actually vlogging material in it, because man, BookCon is crazy and psycho, and mostly this video is going to be about the truth about BookCon, because yeah, I did not know what I was getting myself into when I decided to go to BookCon. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. I will see you all in another video. Bye everyone.